So we were splitting them up. We split some of them up in pairs. So the friend was originally supposed to have like column and editorial writing to show kind of the difference between those things. And so my pair for this section is feature writing and news writing. And so I will talk a little bit about the difference between those two. So feature writing with the originality, reader appeal, interest, quality of lead, emphasis. Don't include poetry or columns in this contest. It's not personal writing. It's not first or second person here. It'll still be third person. But it's personal profiles, human interest story, historical perspectives, even single in-depth research articles. And my suggestion for this is it's a great opportunity to tell the untold stories of the school and to include the students and staff who may not be making the news. So we try and include all the kids and tell everyone's story, and it's a great opportunity to get out there. What are the kids doing that aren't going to make the news for sports, or aren't going to make the news because they're the homecoming queen, or aren't going to make, how can you tell those stories? And I think it's also really great for the feature stories, because if you're like me and you do a once a month publication, these aren't as timely. They could be printed maybe at different times of the year. Though at certain times you might do several features over something that's happening at that time. I was just thinking about the fair going on. There's going to be news about the fair and the results and those facts and what's happening and what are the events. But then there's going to be the feature stories. Who's been going for 50 years? What's the judge who's judging for the last time? Or maybe there's a father, son, grandson, I don't know, those kind of feature stories. So I think that's a great place to do those. Here's some examples from Class A. A person, her process in recovering, military life. So that's a great feature because it can maybe pull in several students. We try and think of ideas that, oh, here's this person, who else is doing that? How can we get a group of kids in, maybe with military life here? Our Way of Sunshine, talking a story about, I think it's this girl's mom. It was not very good, probably. I didn't realize I did that quickly last night. That's floating heads. Sorry about that. And then Class B, this is a story about Germans at their school, or the German history, German culture that's going on during that time. Rescuing man's best friend. It's a twin thing. You can write about twins. I'm getting juniors this year, and I think we have 4 sets of twins in our junior class. So that's a feature story. I tell them we want to write that every year. We've been writing that since those kids got here in 7th grade. We can't keep writing that same feature story. So how can we feature something else? And those poor kids have been featured. There's something else to know about those kids too, besides that they have a twin. Here's Class C, student entrepreneurs. I think features, I sometimes use those in our in-depth section to give us a different angle of an overall topic that we're doing in in-depth. Serving your school and community. And then state, students will assume the role of a reporter for school, information be given to write a feature story for high school newspaper. So they're given an overall topic. And I love the state competition where your kids go and do it on a level playing field. One question I do have, and I thought of this when you put up the example of headline writing, is there any way we could just post an example of what the prompts were going to be like? I have some that have turned out like kids have taken them back with them and they weren't supposed to, but that way kids can feel prepared. Like, what is it going to look like when they get in that room? Like, it'll be like this. Just a
feature
blanket.
writing.
Yeah.
For
all of
everything.
them.
Everything.
Just because I have a folder of like for 10 years, ones that I've come across just so they would know what to expect when they get in there. So it's really great. They give you all the quotes. They give you all the information that they would need. One thing to watch for in there is that sometimes they may not be in the same tense, or it might not be grammatically correct. So then you have to do some things in there to do some editing, which they should know how to do and what those should look like.
Do you want to take a look at one from last year? Last state journalism, like what the prompt looked like?
Yeah, just put an old, that'd be great. And I don't have to do it right now, but I'm just asking, that would be super helpful because even first year advisors, if they have kids qualify, you probably have no idea what that's going to look like when they go in there. And I think it relieves their fears too.
Totally.
My kids go, I don't have to do an interview. Well, unless, here's a feature champion. These are kind of hard to read, but do they have a good lead? Do they tell all the information? Good quotes? It just basically, are they good at writing?